The red and blue lights appear in the rearview mirror almost out of nowhere. For a moment, most drivers feel a familiar rush of adrenaline. Your mind starts racing. Did I speed a little? Did I miss a signal? Did I do something wrong? But long before an officer walks up to the window, something else often happens first. Inside the patrol car, a small camera quietly reads the characters on your license plate. Within seconds, a computer system connects that plate to databases containing years of records about the vehicle. In other words, before the officer ever speaks to you, your car has already told a story about registration, a story about insurance, sometimes even a story about past incidents tied to that vehicle. And most drivers have no idea how much information appears on that screen. So here's a question to think about for a moment. If a police officer scanned your license plate right now, what exactly would they see? Would it simply show that your registration is valid? Or would it reveal far more than most people realize? If you've ever wondered what really happens during that quick scan and what information officers can legally access, share your thoughts in the comments. Many people are surprised when they learn how this system actually works, because the truth is, the moment a patrol car drives behind you, technology begins doing quiet work in the background, and that technology has transformed modern policing. Not long ago, checking a license plate was a slow, manual process. An officer who wanted to verify a vehicle's registration typically had to radio dispatch. The officer would read the plate number aloud over the radio, letter by letter, number by number. Dispatchers would then run that plate through law enforcement databases and report back with the results. It worked, but it took time, and in busy situations that delay could matter. Then came a major shift in law enforcement technology: automated plate scanning. Today, many patrol cars are equipped with systems known as automated license plate readers, often called ALPRs. These systems use cameras mounted on patrol vehicles or roadside infrastructure. The cameras constantly scan license plates on nearby vehicles, whether those vehicles are parked on the street or driving nearby. The moment a plate is captured, software instantly converts the image into text. Within seconds, that text is checked against multiple law enforcement databases. To the officer, the process feels almost instantaneous. The computer screen in the patrol car quietly displays the results. Most drivers never notice that this scan even happened, but the information that appears can be surprisingly detailed. One of the first things officers typically see is vehicle registration status. This confirms whether the vehicle is properly registered with the state's motor vehicle agency. It will show whether the registration is current, expired, suspended, or revoked. If a registration has expired, the system usually highlights that information clearly. In many states, expired registration alone can be a legal reason for a traffic stop. The system may also display the make, model, and year of the vehicle associated with that license plate. For example, if a plate is registered to a blue 2018 Honda Accord but the officer sees it attached to a red pickup truck, that discrepancy immediately raises suspicion. License plate switching, stolen plates, or clerical errors can all cause mismatches like that, and those mismatches often prompt officers to investigate further. Another key piece of information that may appear is insurance status. In many jurisdictions, insurance databases are connected to vehicle registration records. When the plate is scanned, the system may indicate whether the vehicle currently has active insurance coverage. If insurance appears inactive or missing, that can also become grounds for a stop in some places. But the scan doesn't stop there. The system may also check whether the vehicle itself has been reported stolen. If a stolen vehicle alert appears, the response changes immediately. Officers are trained to treat stolen vehicle alerts seriously because stolen vehicles are sometimes connected to other crimes. In such cases, additional units may be called to assist. This is one reason officers sometimes appear extremely cautious during certain stops. What the driver sees as a routine traffic stop may look very different on the officer's screen. The scan may also check for something known as a wanted vehicle. This could include vehicles connected to criminal investigations, outstanding warrants associated with the vehicle owner, or vehicles flagged in connection with previous incidents. It's important to understand that a license plate scan doesn't automatically reveal everything about the driver personally. In many cases, the information is primarily about the vehicle itself. However, if the registered owner of the vehicle has certain alerts attached to their record, such as a suspended driver's license, that information may sometimes appear. Even then, officers generally still need to verify the identity of the person driving the vehicle. After all, the registered owner isn't always the person behind the wheel. Think about how often people drive family members' cars, borrow a friend's vehicle, or use a company car. That's why officers still rely on identification checks during traffic stops, but the plate scan provides a starting point. A quick snapshot of information that helps officers decide whether a closer look is necessary. There is also another element to modern license plate technology that many people don't realize exists: location history. Some license plate reader systems store records of when and where plates were scanned. This means that if a plate was scanned by cameras at different locations over time, those scans may create a record of where that vehicle was observed. These records can sometimes be used during criminal investigations. For example, if investigators are trying to determine whether a suspect vehicle traveled through a particular area, they may review plate reader data from cameras along nearby roads. In some cases, these records have helped solve serious crimes. But they have also raised questions about privacy. Civil liberties organizations have expressed concerns about how long this data is stored and how widely it can be accessed. Different jurisdictions have different policies. Some agencies retain license plate scan data for only a short time, such as a few days or weeks. Others may store it longer. Because of these concerns, many departments have implemented rules about who can access the data and how it can be used. The goal is to balance investigative usefulness with privacy protections, and that balance continues to evolve as technology develops. It's also important to understand that license plate readers are not perfect. Like any technology, they can occasionally make mistakes. Glare from sunlight, dirt on a plate, unusual fonts, or damaged plates can sometimes cause incorrect readings. That's why officers are trained to verify alerts before taking action. If a plate reader flags a potential issue, the officer will usually confirm the information through other systems before proceeding. This reduces the chance of stopping the wrong vehicle. Even so, errors have happened. There have been documented cases where incorrect plate scans led to temporary stops of innocent drivers. For that reason, many departments treat plate reader alerts as leads rather than absolute proof, and officers are expected to use judgment before acting on them. Another thing many people don't realize is that some license plate readers are stationary. These cameras may be mounted on bridges, traffic lights, highway overpasses, or parking structures. They quietly scan thousands of vehicles every day. In large cities, networks of these cameras can create extremely large databases of plate scans. Investigators may search those databases during criminal cases. For example, if a robbery occurred at a certain time and place, investigators might search for all license plates that passed through nearby cameras around that time. That search could help identify vehicles that were present near the scene. Again, these systems are designed to assist investigations, but they are also subject to legal restrictions. Courts have increasingly examined how such technologies interact with constitutional privacy protections. In the United States, for example, courts often consider whether certain types of data collection constitute a search under the Fourth Amendment. Legal scholars continue debating how modern surveillance technologies fit into legal frameworks that were written long before digital databases existed. As technology evolves, laws often evolve alongside it, and license plate readers are part of that ongoing discussion. For the average driver, however, the practical reality is simple. When a police car drives behind you, the officer may already know several things about your vehicle before you ever speak. They may know whether your registration is valid. They may know whether the vehicle is listed as stolen. They may know whether insurance appears active. And they may know whether the vehicle matches the description in official records. All of that information can appear on a screen within seconds. Yet despite all that technology, traffic stops are still human interactions. Officers must still approach the vehicle, speak with the driver, and assess the situation. Technology provides information, but judgment still plays a critical role. Think about the last time you saw a patrol car on the road. Did you immediately check your speed? Did you instinctively look at your mirrors? That reaction is common. Driving carries responsibilities, and most drivers want to avoid mistakes that could lead to problems, but understanding how these systems work can remove some of the mystery. A license plate scan is not a magical tool that reveals everything about a person. It is simply a method of quickly checking vehicle records that already exist in official databases. Those records are created through normal processes like vehicle registration and insurance verification. The scan just connects those records to the physical plate on your car. In many ways, it is simply the digital evolution of the old radio call to dispatch, faster, quieter, and more automated, but still grounded in the same basic purpose, verifying vehicle information. And as vehicles become more connected, these systems will likely continue evolving. Some experts predict that future systems may integrate additional data sources, such as vehicle safety alerts or digital registration records. Others believe privacy protections will grow stronger as the public debates how such data should be handled. Technology rarely stands still, and neither does the law. So the next time you see flashing lights in the mirror, remember that the interaction likely began long before the officer stepped out of the patrol car. It may have started with a camera quietly reading a few letters and numbers, a simple scan that opened a window into the official records attached to that vehicle, records that most drivers rarely think about until the moment they matter. And now that you understand how this system works, I'm curious what you think. Do you believe license plate scanning technology makes roads safer? Or do you think there should be stricter limits on how long that data can be stored? Share your perspective in the comments, because discussions like this help shape how technology and law evolve together. After all, the story of modern policing is also the story of how society chooses to balance safety, efficiency, and privacy, and every driver is part of that conversation.